Riddle. Riddle. I'm losing steam. I need my second wind. Response. Train boat. Or boat train. Conclusion. A second steam. Whatever is steamed once, and then steamed again. And how long between the steams? A minute? An hour? A day? A month? I keep thinking about writing this book. Well, my whole life and I barely ever read fucking books, right? I read I kind of read a lot of shit, but like I'm not a speed reader and I guess it's not necessarily writing a book, it's telling a story. Story is king. Story is king. Like, got all your science, got all your this, got all your that. Got all your religions, all your doctrines, all your protocol, all your habits, good or bad. Me, all mine, good or bad. But at the beginning and the end of the day, story is king. I used to work for this paint company. I hate not saying shit. I hate not saying it because I could just say the paint company. I've probably said it before, but like, you feel like you don't really want to because it's like corporate and it's like, how's that, you know. Plus, I don't want to implicate anybody, you know, nor do I want to be implicated, but I am, so whatever. But like, anyway, they're one of the biggest paint companies in the world. They have stores all over, and paint is king because you generate profit at the point of sale, but also because it's a company that both manufactures and sells paint. It's like a double profit. So when you sell paint, even if you sold paint at cost, you'd still be making the corporation money because they're still making a profit between the manufacturer, the distributor. So there's 2 points of profit, from the manufacturer to the distributor, and from the distributor to the point of sale, to the retailer. So even if you sell it at cost, for the company, as part of the corporation, you're breaking even. But for the corporation that the company is under, you're still making money for. Therefore, theoretically, even if minusculely, you're still driving up. Well, you're driving up both the profit share, and you're driving up market share as it relates to cost, or rather as it relates to price, stock, stock price. Even though other forces, including marketing forces and story forces, also affect that numeric value, which doesn't take all stories or all innumerable events within the cycle necessarily into account. But anyway, for that which we can or do, there's much more that we can account for than we do account for, but for that which we do account, for. There's an effect. It's positive. And what's that do? It drives up the stock price. It drives up the pension, the 401k, the stock sharing of the company, and all of the people who participate within that company and the entire corporation, etc. It also benefits raw material. Well, then again, anyway. But it's a lot easier just to say, I work for Sherwin-Williams. Okay, there, I said it. All right, I'm sorry. Fine. But, like, what if shit was, like, more true? Because, like, for instance, you can't play songs on YouTube. Now, they identify your songs in music. If I'm playing a song or a movie in the background, like, most of them slide right by, you know? But a couple of them, like, Burr! But, like, if you can do it that easy with algorithms and so on or whatever, why not just enumerate it? Like, take it as a percentage, as a timed percentage of the video, give a kickback. It's like, well, they didn't approve it. But the thing is that we live in the modern world. Media is part of our lives. If you're, a modern person living in this day and age, just go without media. For a week, a month, a year. I mean, we're not just kept alive by what we eat. It's important, or what we do, or how we're physical, or how we heal ourselves if we're sick, or how we provide nutrients to ourselves. Our lifestyle, But, like, the story is so important, and the media is the vehicle of the story. The imagination as a real thing. And it's like, if you're so popular that you're worldwide and you're known worldwide, you've gotten into the space, right? You're not just like, and not just in the brain or whatever, in the heart, but like so far down as we know ourselves to be. In any way that you can conceive of yourself. All that way down, and even below that, the story is. The story. For instance, I often think about It's a Wonderful Life. I've often thought about doing like an adaptation of It's a Wonderful Life. I think about that quite a bit. I have probably about 20 different stories I've been working on for years, like in my mind. And one of them is like an adaptation, a readaptation of It's a Wonderful Life. Then I think, well, you got to get permission. But something at that level in society, and I don't know what the copyright situation is with it, but something at that level, or something more recent, Mary Poppins. It's not, once something becomes so successful that it's unavoidable, it ceases to be under the need of protection in the same way, because it's already like a dominant force, so dominant that it penetrates essentially real immaterial things, or at a practical or pragmatic level, immaterial things, stories. How many, let's assume the human race exists another 1,000,000 years. How long will it be before Disney is forgotten? will Disney ever be forgotten. Therefore, so far as human beings are concerned, that which is Disney has taken on the form of a form in the philosophical sense. It's immaterial. It's beyond reproach, at least for a long while. So anyway, something needs to be done about the whole copyright gig, and what we need, if we have the algorithms to block shit because of copyright, just give them a kickback. Because it also must be noted that even media makers aren't, they can't get away from the media either. Like, it belongs to everything belongs to all of us. And to copyright something, like, I'm not totally against copyright. It's just to copyright something, but then to say you can't use this, you can't talk about this, you can't show this. It's like, dude, if I don't walk into a store, like if I don't go to stores, I die, right? If I don't go to work and I don't go to stores, I die. And I'm walking around, other people buying shit, they're wearing t-shirts, they got shit on. Like, you invading my space, motherfucker. I can't go anywhere without seeing fucking Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, right? They're gonna show up in any store. The little M&M dudes, right? Like, they're worldwide. You can't get away from them. You can't. And live. Some people could. Most people couldn't. Therefore, I'm not saying it's a shared property, but what I'm saying is you have to take responsibility. You don't just have to take the profit. You don't just have to take like the ownership or but you have to also take the responsibility of like, yo, you're imprinting shit in the ether. And you, like, some people, all of their self-expression is centralized around logos. Logos mean different things, right? They're not just people say, oh, well, this, that, whatever, bad shit about logos. And that's all well and good. So I'm talking to people who have been there for a long time and are beyond that. Yeah. We get all that bad shit, yeah. But then there's also the good shit of heaven shit. And there's also the criticism of, or the critique that some people, because of the media, which is information, which is a story, a media, marketing, a logo, it's a story, it's a whole story. When you react to a logo, it's because all of these trigger points of thought, of idea, of imagination, they've been germinated, they've been sprouted, and that's real creativity, that's real shit, right? There's a lot of horse shit with it, but mostly, actually, it's like kind of some real story shit, mythos. has effects. And some of them really, really good. Right? But like some people only know how to express themselves through quote unquote properties, intellectual properties, characters, brands. Right. So like someone could give maybe an hour long talk, and instead of like listing all these public domain authors from 100 years ago to 1,000 years ago, instead of doing that, which is all well and good, you know, they're flashing pictures and videos and this and that, logos and clips from movies and music and this and that, and all of a sudden it's like flag, 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 same shit they did with all the rap stuff, you know, back in the day. So yes, there needs to be some protection, but now with all this information technology and so on, like if you can block my video, you can just monetize it a little bit, throw in a commercial at the block point, take a percentage of that video time-wise where the offense happens, monetize it with a little commercial, note it. That way it's all free and clear, fair and good, and go about your business, right? But the thing is, all this shit, I walk into a store, like I walk into the gas station down the road, and they're playing some fucking copyrighted music in my ear. And they get the right for it because the corporation pays for it. You know what I'm saying? But are you paying me for indoctrinating me with your shit? Or I don't want to be all like that about it, but it's a legitimate counterpoint. Like, hey man, I came here for some gas and some hummus and some rye chips and an orange, you know. Maybe a grape juice. I didn't come here for your fucking teeny bopper fucking shit that's gonna be in my head all day. Cause I wasn't, you know, when you're playing that music shit in my ear when I walk in your store, it's not just a fair exchange, because there's a tune, there's a hook, there's a catch, there's a lyric, there's a riff, there's something that's gonna be rattling around this fucking bone box all fucking day. And you gotta take responsibility for that, if that's your gig. That's all. Yeah, this isn't where I was going with this video at all. But, you know, shit comes up. That's the thing, man. Yeah, right, like Heraclitus and the whole, like, can't step into the same river twice, same stream twice. Same with thought. Unless you practice, lay that shit down over and over, memorize it, and then just blah, 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 blah. Some people that works for. Not me. River flows through me. Comes out my mouth when I open it. And sometimes it's related to what I was thinking when I pressed record, and other times not. Anyway, now that I get that part, oh yeah, wait, there was one other thing too, which is actually related. I was going to do this at the end, but I guess... Well, no, maybe I'll get there. So there's that part, and then what I'm going to do, and then I can't remember what it is, but I know I'll remember when I get to the end of this little piece. It's just a little piece. Pretty look. It's a pretty look. Boop, boop, boop. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. And, yeah. Because I'm going to try. I was thinking I didn't show this picture, but I guess I have shown this picture. I've been thinking a lot about this. That's a chipmunk. That's like a bird. That might be a hawk, might be an eagle. So I'm going to eat it. Bird shadow. I called the chipmunk, I meant bird shadow, because the idea is that among the chipmunks there's a mythology of bird shadow who can run faster than a bird shadow. Because if you're a chipmunk and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a shadow descends upon you and grows larger and larger and larger, you gotta run faster. And if you can run faster than a bird shadow, you fly on the ground. Anyway. I'm already embarrassed, but whatever. Mostly I'm embarrassed about smoking and drinking. As far as what I do on camera, I'm ashamed of my bathroom. It's not very clean. I'm also embarrassed of the entire life of my ding dong. Everything about it. But I'm glad it works. It's kind of like I'm funny looking, but sometimes in the right light, I have nice eyes. You gotta find something, man. Love the Sacrifice. Greatest aesthetic, artistic story, mythos, innovation of all time. Yeah, I prepared that. It didn't come off the way I wanted, so what? It's like Napoleon crowning himself when you give yourself your own communion, right? Jesus never took communion. Which is the Christian Passover. The Messianic Christian Passover, kind of. Alright, this is just a parenthetical comment. A lone aphorism. Yeah, no. I was going to say something about Nietzsche. Just because I've been listening to him a little more lately. I get a little disheartened with his posthumous works. A little suspicious of his sister. Apparently she made him wear that ridiculous mustache. So large and looming that it was hard to see the tongue in his cheek. But yeah, I'll leave that for another time. It's in there. So I've said before, I love titles. So yeah, this pretty much for this. I keep thinking it was like Killhawk. Man, before I had 12. In my mind, I've had hundreds. But I think I'm going to settle on Beneath the Underground. Which, in Chipmunk, or kind of like the chipmunk English version, kind of like Spanglish, except like the chipmunk English version of Spanglish for beneath the underground is bare shoe, bare shoe. I'm sorry that I like it. It's so stupid, but whatever. And then I had another title behind that page. Might be a subtitle, I don't know. A burden of truth. A burden of truth. Which relates to law, but also like the real thing, and that relates to faith, is like the burden of truth. Like once you know the truth, it's like that movie Reality Bites, man. Which means one thing to people of my generation or anybody who's ever watched it, right? Reality Bites. But then when you look at it like, quote unquote, see, I call cosmology, when I say cosmology, sometimes I mean more like where we live. I mean a little bit more like, alright, if you're looking in dictionary of like definitions of world, if you take like the bottom half of those definitions, if it has a lot of definitions, not if it's just like some small little reference dictionary, but a dictionary with a long list of world. If you take the bottom half, sometimes that's more what I mean by cosmology. Anyway, the cosmological burden of truth is the viciousness of a human-scaled life experienced as a human. That's very scientific, as it turns out, you know. That we're a wall. The best of us, and I don't mean the best people, I mean whether you're 1% good or 99% good or 50% good or 20 or 70 or whatever, like however good you are, all that goodness of all of us collected together is the strongest wall against the darkness that there is. That there is. That we know of. Collectively, or more or less. Some of us know more. It doesn't get better. As we learn more, as it turns out, it's a little bit sad. At least in this flesh. The burden of truth, it's not just like this legalistic thing. It's not just like winning an argument. It's the war against the fucking darkness, man. And even on a beautiful day, like, it's a beautiful day outside. And what do most of us, we humans, think about, right? Now, if you got a debilitating illness, it don't matter how fucking beautiful the day is. Or, if you're healthy as shit, but a darkness of thought has come upon you. Well, most of us know that. It don't matter. Right? But those are luxuries. Those are philosophical luxuries. Now, they're still to be overcome. And they're not any easier. Because the darkness, the stalker, of not only death, but of thievery. Not all death is thievery, but there's a thief. I know there's a thief because his tentacle it's interesting how different people would interpret my use of the word his there. I admit to a historical predilection of the historical influence. When most people are talking about sexism, they don't usually bring up the injustice of the devil being a dude. But historically, that's well deserved because of so much in the past, you know. The devil being, you know, associated with women and stuff. The serpent and all that. I've touched on that before. Someday I'm gonna fucking hit it out of the park, man. It's my Babe Ruth moment. You know, not because I'm worthy. Because I can hit the ball. Sometimes. I'm not on the game field, I'm just in the batting cage. And one day I'm gonna hit that fucking ball. And it's gonna hit that fucking... It's gonna hit that diamond chain link and go. But I don't get home, right? Like Babe Ruth was one thing, yeah, he got home. Why'd everybody cheer? Because everybody wants to go home. And they like the idea of someone getting home. You hit a home run, you go home. And we all like the idea of going home. Most of us may not make it there. But the idea that anybody gets home gives us hope. All those thousands of people cheering. All those big dollar fucking baseball cards. What's it all about? Getting home. If you got home, maybe I can go home too. And just so all y'all know, I sure the fuck ain't home. I ain't even on deck. I'm outside with the transistor radio. I'm outside the stadium with a transistor radio. With a dying battery. What? Yeah! Wait, whoa, what? What? Huh? And that's still a privileged space. In so much as I'm responsible, I'm trying to react to that responsibility. In so much. The rest of me is a pile of poo. That's okay. Or it's gonna have to be. I almost stopped. Am I gonna stop? Nope. Yeah, I gotta stop drinking wine again. I did before and then, but I don't know if it's the sulfites or whatever, but... And I began a little more broke again. I had some more car trouble. It's not that big a deal. It's my brakes. My dad helped me with them and so on, but I still got some problems with something on my wheels. Fucking thing's squeaking. I drive an hour to and from work every day. And the wheels going... Driving me fucking crazy. Alright, A Burden of Truth. Title. Beneath the Underground. A Burden of Truth. I find I need a beginning. I usually come up with about like 5 different beginnings a night since I started thinking about. Well, I'm always writing books in my head, right? Or making stories in my head. But anyway, I'm feeling pretty good about this one. I wrote a love letter once that was like 67 pages long, but not like college. What is it, like 12 font double space? It was a bigger font, and it was a space and a half. So it might have been college wise. Like, maybe 40 pages, 45. And, like, paperback, maybe 30, 35. But anyway, it was a weird experience. Most only the things that I have ever written in my life, the biggest things I've written in my life are love letters, besides this channel. And that's because if I ever had a girlfriend or a love interest, they were kind of like my best friend, which just breaks my heart today. Every day. Every day. I mean, I think about a lot of other things too, but I always reflect, and that's a very philosophical way of talking about it, on the failures of my love life, but most specifically, and I think about all of it, but most specifically my failure of like true love. And it pains me that all of those, and this is included in it, like all of those who I have no romantic interest in, whether they be a woman or a man, I'm straight as shit, in so much as I'm not physically attracted to like men, but I've met a handful of men who I felt this real warmth, like this other kind of like love for. Not like, not Brokeback Mountain, but intimately, spiritually, so to speak, or emotionally, probably. But yeah, the physical thing just never down me. Anyway, but what I mean is like, and I, just, but like, I'm ashamed of myself for ascribing all kinds of love with romanticism, even though that is an advancement over, what do they call it, misogyny? Like, romanticism, as much as it's derided for good cause, not necessarily great cause, but for good cause, it is a technology of love that is above misogyny. If all misogynists became romanticists, the world would be a better place and more open to perhaps criticisms of romanticism. But what the world needs now is love, sweet love. So there's a lot of places in the world that need romanticism. And there are other places in the world that need to evolve beyond that with compassion, empathy, and sympathy. People don't usually say that. And not that it's my thing, it's just I've heard it and it's true. People don't usually say it, but it's important because people pit the two against each other. No. Empathy and sympathy are the logos and the mythos, and they're meant to marry. Beneath the underground, bare shoe, bare shoe. I tried to turn on my computer, it wasn't working, so I just wrote it on this. Beneath the underground, bare shoe, bare shoe. Title: A Burden of Truth. The gift of faith will kill you. Okay, well, that's just a figure of speech, but what I mean is, it's a bitch. Shit, that doesn't sound right either. What I mean is, it's tough. The faith of the earth and the faith of heaven are not the same faiths, but proportional, opposites, inverse. Earth and heaven are the world. Earth and heaven are the world. The world changes. I'm happy with that. I don't know why that just reminded me of what the other thing was I was going to talk about, because I was talking about, I'm trying to keep that thought, that's why I'm trying to keep that thought and not lose it again, because they're loosely connected but like vitally connected. Is like, if you're putting shit out into the world, it has to be free for the world. And if you're about the money of it, fine, but you have to let other people use it, and in so much as it can be identified. Like, you know, fraud's fraud, that's a different story. If someone's trying to like make something, say it's yours, like, you know, so like if you manufactured a toy and I die cast that toy, you know, if there's a toy that represents a movie and I like make a false, you know, die cast of that toy and I go selling it and you bust me for that, that's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is like making videos and shit in the background and all that kind of thing. Like, if you got the algorithms to like knock me out and shut me down and turn me off, then fuck you, you know? Except for rare exceptions. And I don't mean anything conspiratorial about that, but like, for instance, I mean, this is the extreme case, but like, if you're a prophet, right? And you can see someone spitting truth, and you can see how that truth fucking hurts down the line. If you're a prophet or a witch or whatever, and it depends how you define those terms, and every place defines them different, so it's like this moving fucking thing when you're, because sometimes when you're talking about sorcerers in one tradition, and then you say, you know, brujos, castaneding brujos, sorcerers, you know, but then when you're talking about in the Terry Good kind, it's like they're two totally different things. They're almost complete fucking opposites. So all these little terms, they fucking float around, and it's like nobody necessarily, but there's all these little connections, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, once you're putting shit out there, it's out there. And you have to take responsibility if you're into the money thing. Like, for instance, I don't monetize anything, and I've been thinking about, for instance, one of the things I think is like, well, if I write a fiction book, I could monetize that, because I have a lot of big plans. They far exceed this. Well, I just mean what I'm doing. I'm trying to hide right now. I'm trying to hide. I've been seen. By the profile of the ram's eye. Let's just keep it at that for now. And which is mind-boggling, but you know, despite my foolishness, I'm actually up to something. And it's, they say don't keep all your eggs in one basket, but chipmunks keep all their nuts in one burrow. They're kind of like my favorite animal right now. And they're the fastest and the smallest, and they kick fucking ass. And they live a brutal fucking life, and they're cute as shit. You can't look at a chipmunk and not just be like, yeah. Yet, at the same time, the world, I mean, they're cute as fucking shit. But they live the most murderous, brutal, horrifying fucking existence. And they're fast as shit. And they're introverts. They may well be the embodiment of introversion. I was listening to some Francis Bacon today. Some light listening while at work. He was poo-pooing some on Aristotle's logic and how, like, for some reason, see, I can't understand it because I'm not smart enough, but, like, for some reason it seemed as though he was poo-pooing on how, like, Aristotle's brand of logic infected his entire philosophy. I couldn't quite make that out. I did find okay, so I was glad that he was attacking forms only because forms, especially at his time, were so associated with Plato. So, like, if you mention forms back in the days of Bacon, the philosopher, not the painter, then it just might as well just mean Plato. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe. And in that sense, it gave me a little smirk. Because I've got this, like, prejudice against Plato for some reason, which is stupid, but though even Bacon, yeah, Bacon was saying how basically, like, I forget how he said it, but it was awesome. He was talking about, only because it reminded me of me, and it's like Francis Bacon saying the same shit I said. That must mean I'm right. That must mean I'm worth something. That must mean I know something. Just like a chipmunk hiding under a rock, looking for a nut. God, give me a nut. Just give me a fucking nut. Think I smell a nut. But anyway, he was talking about something about how, like, Plato and Aristotle are like the driftwood on the ocean of philosophy. I'm totally butchering that paraphrase, but how, like, see, that's the thing, like, coming for where I am now, it's like I don't necessarily know how to get there, even though I already got there. Man, I'm like a magnet to the fucking... It's weird. Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe it's because I am the living embodiment of the biggest lie that ever has been. Maybe that's why I'm a magnet to the truth. I'm the opposite of the truth. That's why I get drawn to it so much. Maybe that's it. You know, because I am. I'm a total fucking... I'm like walking diarrhea. Constipation. Imagine having constipation and diarrhea at the same time. Because there's the one type where you have, like, like if you had fecal impaction, constipation, and diarrhea, like, that can kill you because your intestines will blow up inside of you, you know. But what if you had the opposite? Like, I don't even know what that would be. That's like trying to define negative temperatures. It's like just about impossible. That was a really, really, really good analogy. I'm not even going to break it down. But yeah, what I was going to talk about when I was talking about, because you're invading my space, if you're going to put algorithms on the shit that I'm posting and saying and block it, just monetize it. And like, if I'm quote unquote misrepresenting you, no. If you're on my fucking feed, if you're on my shit, you're in here. And if you're in here, you don't only own me, I own a little piece of you. And that's all I'm taking. I'm not monetizing things. Don't block my fucking videos. I mean, at the end of the day, at the end of 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 the day, what stands? At the end, what stands? Where are we going with all this? Where are we going? But the other thing I was going to say is, like, if I monetize in any way, I don't know, it's like I just want to go to work, you know, but my body's going to break me, and sometimes it's like yesterday. I think probably because I drank most of that bottle of wine the night before. Maybe, I don't know, also the temperature, the barometric pressures now as I'm older, maybe like, yeah, like Alzheimer's, or arthritis-y type of things. Maybe I'm not getting enough, I think, boron. I think that's the right element, the fifth element. That's why people in Israel tend not to have arthritis, because there's so much boron in the soil. Yeah, yesterday I felt like shit. Because things change day to day, minute to minute, hour to hour. But yeah, if I did monetize, I was thinking, like, if I ever monetize, like if I set up a PayPal or like a GoFundMe or a Patreon or anything like that, like my whole gig would be like making everything public, every receipt, every dollar, everything public, including like personal expenses like toilet paper. Um, uh, but then there are free things that are, what else am I doing? It's free. What if everything was public? What if it was just like, I'm sorry, I am this piece of shit. Here's all of me. I'm giving you my beautiful parts. I'm trying to give you my beautiful parts. That's what this whole, for me, my channel, my message, my proclamation on the mount, you know. But yet, it's the only reason I'm doing this. No one watches my videos yet. Oh yeah, except for the archangels, leprechauns, aliens, etc. For some reason, they all watch. You either think I'm joking or crazy. Yeah, both those. And there's a third thing, too. I'll feel bad for saying it that way momentarily, and then again for the next month, because it was pretty haughty and so on, and I don't usually show me getting my fucking dick pounded in the dirt, because archangels don't always play nice. Rarely, actually. I'm not questioning their intent. But yeah, show everything. What if everybody just showed everything and it's okay? It's like, yeah, you're completely fucked up. Yeah, you did all these kinds of wrong things. Truth and reconciliations, man. That's what it's all about. And it's hard, you know. And as we begin to examine ourselves more, it becomes harder. I was listening to a Joe Rogan. It's funny. Tonight was the first night I ever listened to Joe Rogan doing stand-up. Right. So I've known about him for 20 years, you know. And I used to watch him on news radio. I used to love news radio. I used to watch it, you know, when it was on TV and shit. And wasn't that part of the Thursday night lineup? What did they used to call it? Like must see TV, or I can't remember, but like Thursday NBC was like the fucking, and then they moved to like Tuesday and then to Wednesday, or I can't remember how it went, but anyway. But anyway, yeah, I never saw him do stand up before, but I've watched like hundreds and hundreds of hours, probably. Well, several hundred hours of shows. I'd estimate. I tend to exaggerate. But yeah, it was the first night I ever watched him do stand up, and he was talking about how when he, and I don't know if this is just pure comedy, but probably not. I mean, he, you know, but like how when he's watching his kids being born from his wife, he's like both like totally enthralled, like the biggest moment, daughter born, all this, like this beautiful, most amazing thing ever, 2 women in his life, the most important thing ever. And on the other side, he's like, what's going on down there? That shit's fucked up. You gotta fix that shit, Doc. And I thought that was just the most beautiful. It gave me a huge relief, actually, because that's how I go through my entire life. Like Animal on the Muppets, or the Tasmanian Devil. Like, take Animal from the Muppets and Tasmanian Devil from Looney Tunes, put them together with the little baby, what is it, Baby Harry from Roger Rabbit, and put a bunch of anime porn videos in that, and that's this fucking monster that rages inside of me. And I find it's best if I can deal with that thing, that thought form, that habit, that instinct, that aesthetic hand-me-down. If I can deal with that with compassion, firm compassion, that's when it works best. And when I'm like, Jeff, how could you? You're the worst. I mean, just thinking, not doing, just thoughts, man. It's crazy in there. Crazy. But to just accept that, and like when it comes, just be like, yeah, there it is. But then remember at the same time that, like, meanwhile, a baby deer is standing next to its mother getting her fucking head blown off. Who's Bambi? And human trafficking still exists. Albinos get murdered for body parts, even today. Puts it in perspective a little bit.